Hello my sweet friends, welcome back. For today's reading vlog, I'm going to be using a random number generator to decide how many hours I read each day for a week. I've done this once before and I had so much fun doing it, and so when I was thinking about what type of reading vlog I wanted to film this week, I was like, why not just do it again? I had fun last time, so I'm ready for round 2. Okay, it is Monday, it is day 1. We're gonna see how many hours I need to read for today. This is what my wheel looks like. I've put in numbers 1 to 8 because honestly, I don't think I can read for more than 8 hours in one day. I'm just being realistic. So let's see how many hours I'm gonna have to read for today. Okay, we're gonna read for 5 hours today. That's like, it's a lot, but it's also doable. I don't really have a set TBR for this video as a whole, but I think I'm just gonna try and work on my monthly TBR because have I read a single book from my monthly TBR yet? No. However, before I get into that, I have like 100 pages left on the book that I'm currently reading on my Kobo. If you don't know what a Kobo is, it's just an e-reader. Looks like this. I love my Kobo. I have a Kindle and a Kobo. Do you need both? Probably not, but do I love both and do I use both? Yes, honestly. Right now I'm reading Vow of the Shadow King. This is the second book in this little trilogy, and all of the books are free on Kobo Plus, which is kind of like Kindle Unlimited, but for Kobo. So I've been kind of hooked on this series for the past like week or so, and I'm really enjoying it, but I'm gonna try and finish up this book, I guess like this morning, however long it takes me to read this last like 100 pages or so, and then we'll move into something from my actual monthly TBR. So let's start our timer. 5 hours starting now. I have like 30 pages left and things are not looking good. Not looking good for our main characters. I don't know how they're gonna fix this. In saying that, this is the second book in a trilogy, so what's the bet we don't even get like a happy ending? Just give me a satisfying ending, please. I feel like I'm really giving iPad kid right now, but it's comfy. Plot twist. Oh no, I think I have a feeling I know what's gonna happen. Up to the epilogue, and I think this is where it's all gonna go terribly wrong. I love an epilogue where something actually happens. It's not just like, oh, and they got married and they had kids and they lived happily ever after. Like, give me substance. Well, I say that, and then this is probably gonna be devastating. So, do I really want that? I don't know. Oh no. Oh, now I want to start the next one, but I know I shouldn't. Oh, that ending was actually really good, I must say. Okay, I've officially finished Vow of the Shadow King. It was good. I don't think it was as good as the first book in the series, but I think I just wasn't as in the mood for it. Like, I think I was really in the mood for it when I read the first book, so that kind of helped my feelings, I guess. I don't know, I'll have to process it for a bit, but oh, I need to stop the timer. Okay, I read for almost an hour. We have 4 hours and 4 minutes left on the timer, so I still have a lot of reading to do today. I might take a break and go to the gym, and then maybe do some reading later. I'll keep you updated. I don't know what I'm gonna read next. Got home from my walk, had some lunch. Now let's pick out our next read because we still have a lot of reading to do today. These are the books that are on my TBR for this month, and I honestly think I'm gonna go with The Iron King because I forgot that I started this. I haven't read much, but I started listening to this as an audiobook on Spotify, but then I stopped because I was put in Spotify jail. So let's see where I'm up to in the audiobook. I'm up to chapter 8, which is like 100 pages in. So I'm gonna keep reading this. Obviously, like I mentioned, we still have 4 hours left on the clock. I am gonna turn my phone on airplane mode so I can't get distracted by like scrolling, but I can still use the timer. I would just turn it off, but obviously, like I said, need to use the timer. honestly, I haven't read that much. I'm up to page 145. I feel like I'm reading so slow because I'm not really enjoying this book that much at the moment. The last like 50 or so pages have just felt like an absolute fever dream, which I think is the point, but I just have not been enjoying it. So I'm hoping that kind of like part of the book has ended now, but I really don't know. It is a cool premise though, so I'm hoping I enjoy it the more I read. Basically, if you don't know, this book is about a girl called Megan, whatever, who is just like a human girl, and then on her 16th birthday she kind of falls into the never, is it called the never, I think? Something like that, which is basically just like the fairy world, and it turns out that she has more of a connection to the fairy world than she realized. She like didn't even believe in fairies or like anything like that. She just thinks she's just like a normal person and doesn't think any of that sort of stuff is real. And then when she falls into that world, obviously she's just very confused, and we just had a bit of a revelation about how she's like connected to that world. So it like sounds very interesting, but so far I'm just like a bit bored. It is very YA, which I did know going into it because I had a lot of people tell me they read this when they were like quite young. So I did expect it to be YA, and I usually love YA, but this is just like very young adult. Like I feel like I could have read this when I was like 12 or 13. So I don't know. I'm hoping it gets better, but right now I'm just like, eh. I read up until page 205, chapter 14. Still feel very meh about it. It is maybe 0.1% better than it was when I last updated you, but Boardy McBoard is how I'm feeling about this. But am I going to DNF it? I've considered it. No, I'm not going to because I'm halfway through now. I'm gonna finish it. But at this point, definitely not continuing the series. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I doubt it. However, we still have 3 hours left of reading. So I think what I'm going to do is listen to an audiobook because I have some stuff that I like need to get done. I need to fold some laundry. I want to do some cleaning. My house is just a little bit of a mess. So I just need to do a bunch of like random chore type things. So I think I'm just going to listen to an audiobook while I get those done and probably do some more physical reading maybe later. It's like 2:30 at the moment. I think I'm actually going to do a reread because I want to read The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black, but I think I want to re-listen to the first book in that duology just to remind myself of it because I read it like a year ago and I remember the main things, but I don't remember like every little detail, and I think I'll have a better time reading the second one if I reread the first one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna listen to The Stolen Heir while I do my little chores. I think last time I spoke to you, I had about 3 hours left on the timer. Now I only have 56 minutes left. I should pause this while I'm filming. I ended up listening to my audiobook for about an hour and a half, and then I had to do a bunch of other things where I just like couldn't listen to an audiobook. I also showered and washed my hair, so that's air drying at the moment. And now I've got dinner in the oven. I'm just waiting for that to cook, and I've just been reading while I wait for that. I think I'll definitely like easily finish the timer today since we only have under an hour left and it's not even 6 p.m. yet. I am at page 240 of The Iron King. I still feel pretty similarly about it as I have in the other updates I've given you. It's just not giving me like anything really. The whole story is about Megan, whatever her name is. She is connected to the fairy world, which she didn't even know existed before her 16th birthday, and now she found out that this whole other world exists and she's like very connected to it. But also her little brother has been kidnapped and she thinks he's been taken to the Unseelie court, so she is trying to find him and take him back home basically. So that's like the whole point of the story. Like that's why we're here. We're trying to find the little brother and take him home. And so far this entire story has just been her going somewhere, getting into some sort of like trouble or some sort of issue, and then there'll be a big kerfuffle, and then she'll manage to escape by the skin of her teeth, like just survive, and then she goes somewhere else, and oh no, she gets into some trouble, something bad happens, and then she has to figure out a way to escape, and then as soon as she escapes she goes somewhere else, and it's just repetitive. The same thing is happening over and over and over again, just in like a different location with a different issue and sometimes a different character like alongside her, but like nothing is actually happening. Like we're not it doesn't feel like we're progressing, because it just feels like we're just running into all these issues with all these different random mythical creatures and all these random different locations. And like, it's somewhat interesting and entertaining in that way, because obviously you're meeting all these different characters and creatures and things. But like I said, we're just like, it doesn't feel like we're getting any sort of progress. When is this little journey gonna come to an end? Like, please just let her get to the Unseelie Court and find the brother, and we can have something else. I don't know. I'm obviously a bit annoyed at it, if you can't tell. It's not my favorite, and I'm kind of sad about it because I was really looking forward to this, but it's just not giving what I was hoping it would give. Is up, 7:30 p.m. and I just got to page 306, and this is perfect timing because my show is about to start. So I'm gonna put this book away for now. I might read a little bit more before bed, but I mean, I finished my timer, so anything that I read now is just like on top of the timer. But I'm excited because I think I'm either gonna finish this book maybe tonight, probably not tonight, probably tomorrow. But that's exciting because I'm still not enjoying it, so I would rather be reading something that I am enjoying. Good morning, guys. We're on to day 2. It is 7 a.m. and I want to see how long I need to read for today. If I'm being completely honest, I'm hoping that I don't have to do as many hours today, just because I have a lot of editing that I want to do. So it would be great to not have to do as much reading so that I have more time for editing. You know what I mean? But let's see. What's it gonna be? Awesome. We have 5 again. We had 5 yesterday, we have 5 today, so we will be reading for 5 hours today, which is quite a long time, in my opinion. In saying that, we did it yesterday. I actually read for longer than 5 hours yesterday, because I did continue reading after the time it ended. I don't know how we're gonna fit everything I need to do in today, but I guess we'll just do our best. Heading upstairs because I have some good news. Last night I ended up finishing The Iron King, which is so good. Honestly, I don't really have any other thoughts about this book that I haven't said. It was okay. It definitely wasn't amazing in my opinion. I think if I'd read it when I was younger, I probably would have enjoyed it more, but it just didn't really give me much at all. I do think the ending was definitely more interesting than like the first part of the book, or the middle of the book actually. The start was interesting, the end was interesting. The middle, I genuinely think you could have taken like the middle 100 pages out of this book and it would have been the same, but at least it's over. So we have the rest of my monthly TBR here. This is my book club book, so I also have that here just because I need to read it this month. What do I feel like picking up next? So far this month I've only read fantasy, so I feel like I should pick up something different. Maybe Paper Princess. If I'm being honest, a lot of you guys, when I talked about this in my like monthly TBR video where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna read this, I'm so excited. Everyone was like, Rachel, you are probably not gonna enjoy that. Apparently it's a lot spicier than I was anticipating, which is kind of crazy because I thought this was YA, which usually means like not really very spicy, but I think people were saying it's more of like new adult. But I want to at least give it a go. If you don't know what this book is about, I originally thought it was going to be like a cute little YA fantasy with like Regency vibes. Like I was like, oh, Paper Princess, like cute, like princesses and like maybe some fairies and you know, like all of that sort of stuff. No. Apparently, I don't know where I got that like assumption from. Apparently it's about a teenage girl who has just been like struggling to make ends meet and just like survive really. And then some rich guy, I don't really know why, maybe we'll find out when I read it, just like picks her up and takes her to live in his like mansion. But he has, is it sons or like, yeah, he has 5 sons who all hate her. And their last name is Royal. I think that's like, it's called the Royal series, I think. Yeah, the Royals, book 1. Each royal boy is more magnetic than the last, but none as captivating captivating as Reed Royal, the boy who is determined to send her back to the slum she came from. And if she's going to survive her time in the royal palace, she'll need to learn to issue her own royal decrees. I don't know, it might be like one of those books where it's like so bad but like so addictive. Honestly, we might be able to even finish this today. How long is it? Like 350 pages? I'll keep you guys updated. Guys, what is happening? This is a dumpster fire already, and I'm 15 pages in. No, I don't like it. We're following a 17-year-old girl called Ella, and she just said to a grown man who is pretty much a stranger to her, she said, "Fine, you want me to dance for you, Daddy?" Huh? I don't like it. I can't believe I thought this was like a cute little YA fantasy. It was very wrong. Very, very wrong. I'm gonna give it like a solid chance before I really decide what I'm gonna do, but at this point, it is now 12:14. It has been many hours since I talked to you guys last. I ended up reading for an hour and a half and I got up to page 100 exactly, chapter 11. Read for an hour and a half and then I've just been editing ever since then. And tell me why, the whole time I've been editing, I've just been thinking about this book. And I've just wanted to keep reading it, which is a little bit bizarre because obviously last time I talked to you guys, I was like, this is not for me. I don't think I'm gonna like this. This is so weird. There's a lawnmower going. But the more I read, the more I was like, wait, this is just like the equivalent of like a trashy reality TV show. Like, is it actually like good quality content? Maybe not. But is it entertaining and is it addictive? Absolutely it is. I will say the quote that I read you at the beginning, that was definitely a little rogue. Like that was a little random. And it hasn't really been like those vibes since then. Our main character is just very like sassy, has a lot of attitude, she's very like confident, and she just says things sometimes I'm like, I cannot believe you just said that, but it's just her personality, I guess. But like I mentioned, this book is about a girl called Ella. Her mum has just passed away and she never knew her dad, and this guy just like shows up out of nowhere. She's never met him before and he's like, I am now your official legal guardian and you are gonna come with me. So she's basically forced to go with this guy who she doesn't know, and he takes her to live with him in this like mansion, and he's basically like, you are part of my family now. Like, I'm gonna treat you as like one of my kids. I won't explain like why. You obviously get to find out in the book though. But he also has 5 teenage sons who are not happy that Ella is there, and so they're kind of giving her a pretty hard time. But like I said, she has a lot of attitude, she has a lot of sass, so she just kind of gives it right back to them. Like every time they give her a hard time, she just like gives it back, and it is just extremely entertaining. There's not any romance yet. I'm assuming there will be at some point, but right now I'm just like very entertained by the world. It's just very much like rich people drama, but like with someone who wasn't always rich being brought into it. So I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna hate it, but I'm kind of enjoying it in that kind of trashy TV kind of way. I hope that makes sense. I'm definitely someone who loves watching a trashy reality TV show, and sometimes you read a book and you're like, it's so bad, but it's so good. Like, it's just entertaining, and that's what this is giving currently. But I'm gonna take a break from editing. I'm gonna read for a little while, and I guess I'll update you guys later. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if I end up reading this whole book today, because I just really want to know what's gonna happen. Like, I just want to sit here and binge it. The heck? It's a dumpster fire. I just can't look away. There is no way this would actually happen. Oh my gosh. What? I'm giggling. It's so not funny. Like, this is so bad, but like, it's so ridiculous that it's funny to me. I shouldn't be laughing, I shouldn't. I want to tell you what's happened, but I don't want to spoil anything, so I can't. But this is crazy stuff. Actually, it's not like that crazy. I just wasn't expecting it. One of the adults in our main character's life is trying to give her advice and just gave her the worst advice. Our main character did something like not good. And this adult goes, "You had every right to lose your temper, and good for you putting that girl in her place." That's not good. You should not condone this behavior. Oh my gosh, this is just too funny. Sometimes she's fully encouraging this behavior. This is not good. I've been reading for another hour and a half. The timer is at 2 hours and 5 minutes. I'm at page 203, chapter 19. Is it still absolutely terrible? Yup. Am I still absolutely addicted? Yup. Am I gonna keep reading rather than editing like I should? Yup. Would I recommend it? Probably not. It's so unhinged and so weird. I don't even have any justification as to why I haven't DNF'd it, because it's like, it's not good, but it's so easy to read and it's so ridiculous. So I'm just gonna keep reading. If you wanna know what I mean by ridiculous, this is a perfect example. So it's like the middle of the night and she hears someone like whispering, and so she wants to sneak out so that she can hear what they're talking about. And so she says, "I rush to the closet and throw on the first thing I touch, which turns out to be a mini skirt." I'm sure you absolutely couldn't find something better than a mini skirt to put on in the middle of the night. Yep. Like, why? I finished it. We still have 36 minutes on the timer, so that means that it took me about 4.5 hours, a little bit over 4.5 hours to read. It felt very easy to read, very easy to binge. But does that mean it was good? I don't think so. Was it addictive and very entertaining? Yes, but was it good? Those are two very different questions. Would I recommend it? Probably not. It felt like something I would have read on Tumblr in like 2012 or something. Like when they update the parts like one by one and you just like go and check back every day to see if they've updated another chapter or something. Like that's kind of what it felt like, which felt very nostalgic and very fun. But again, I wouldn't call it good. This is also the first book in a series, and this book definitely ended on a bit of like a cliffhanger, I guess. So am I gonna continue the series? I don't think so. It was fun to binge, but I don't see myself continuing the series. Like, I do not care about these characters whatsoever. And I also think I liked the plot better before the romance like entered, you know? Because I feel like the things that I really liked about this book were just like the rich people drama and like teenagers going to parties in high school and like the high school politics. Like, it was all very like drama, you know? And that was very entertaining. But the romance was a little bit like, a bit cringe. It was just like, I can't believe how hot he is. Like, I just can't help myself kind of thing. And it was just not it for me. It was also very like lust driven. I feel like the main girl and her main love interest like maybe had probably one solid conversation, like getting to know each other the whole book. So definitely didn't feel like an emotional kind of romance, I guess, but it was an interesting thing to read. It was kind of wild at some parts. It had me shocked at what was going on at some parts, but I don't think I would necessarily like recommend it. Like I said, I have 36 minutes left on the timer for today. I'll probably save that for later because now I need to actually be productive with some of my time, but I'll probably read before bed, so I'll pick out a new book later tonight, I guess. But you guys were so right when you said, "Rachel, I don't know if this is your vibe." You were correct. You guys know me so well and I appreciate it. And thank you for like warning me and telling me what I was getting myself into before I got into it, because so many of you were like, "Rachel, I don't know if it's your normal type of book, like this is what it's about, I don't know if it's your vibe," and you were right. That also means give me recommendations that you think I'll enjoy, because it seems like you guys know me better than I know myself. Or maybe I should just start reading blurbs before I actually buy books. That's another thing we could do. Good morning. It is day 3. So let's see what our random number generator gives us today. I'm really hoping for a lower number today because I have things I need to do. And we've had 2 5-hour days. It would be nice to have like, honestly, like maybe like 1, 2 or 3. That would be like what I'm hoping for. But in saying that, I am really enjoying reading. Like, I'm having so much fun, and every day I've gone over the 5 hours, but I'm just worried that I don't have as much time to read today. Even though I want to sit down and just binge a book all day. I just don't know if I have the time today. So let's see what we get. 1 hour. That is very nice. I'm very happy about that. Thank you, random number generator. So last night I ended up reading the rest of my 36 minutes by listening to The Stolen Air by Holly Black. But then when I got into bed, well actually I listened to more than 36 minutes of it, but regardless, that's how I finished off the timer. Then when I got into bed, I decided to start a new book. So I started reading Flower Heart by Catherine Bakewell. This is a YA fantasy, and it's about a girl who can't control her powers, and if she can't like learn how to control them, they're going to be taken away from her by like kind of like the government, I guess, equivalent of like the government in this world. And her powers are like flower related. It's so cool. It's written in a way where you can really imagine it, in at least for me, like I can really see it. But the premise of this book is that her father is sick and she wants to cure him because she wants to be a healer, like that's what she wants to do with her powers. But there's a lot of like complications with that, and to help her be able to cure him, she has like teamed up, I guess, with a guy who she was like childhood friends with called Xavier, and they were best friends growing up, but they haven't really talked in the past 5 years. I don't really know why yet. And so now he's trying to teach her how to like use her powers and cure her dad. I think I only read about 50 pages last night. I'm up to chapter 4, so I'm just gonna sit here and read maybe for an hour, maybe more, maybe less, we'll see. I'm reading in my new egg chair. I'm obsessed with it. It's the best thing ever. It's so cozy. This is my happy place. I've just been listening to The Stolen Air while I've been crocheting. I just finished the color that I was working on. I'm making this blanket. I have been making it for quite a while now. It's just a like giant granny square blanket, and I will probably be making it a long time to come because blankets just take a long time. But I'm having so much fun just working on it like bit by bit. But I'm about to switch colors, so I just like tied it off, and look how much I have left of this skein of this color. Like it was like perfect timing. Like this would have barely got me anywhere. So perfect time to change color. This is not a pattern. I'm just making a giant granny square, like a continuous granny square. And I'm just changing colors whenever I feel like it, whenever I think it will look good. I thought I would give you a little update because we did obviously read for an hour this morning, and that was all I technically had to read for, but I have done some more reading since then, and I thought why not just update you guys. So I just finished the audiobook of The Stolen Air by Holly Black, which was a reread, and so that means I can start The Prisoner's Throne kind of soon. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start it, maybe this month. I have so many books I want to read, so it's just like, I don't know, but I want to read it sooner rather than later. And then in the hour that I was reading, for my allocated time for today, I think I got up to like page 100, and then I ended up reading just to the end of that chapter, and so I got up to page 114. So we're like a third of the way through this book, and now it is 7:50, and I think I'm just going to continue sitting on the couch and reading this until I feel like going upstairs to bed, because that's just what I do in the evenings. I just read, unless I have a show to watch, but all my shows are over, so that also means more time for reading, which is good. By the way, I haven't even told you my thoughts on this. I am really enjoying this. This is so good. It is like cozy fantasy vibes. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of like Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, like that kind of vibe, I would say. Like a lot more cozy, not like, it's like high stakes because her dad is sick, but it's not like war and it's not like politics. It's just like she's living in a small town and there's like a magician council that makes sure everyone's doing the right thing. And I think there's gonna be like some romance in this, and I'm really looking forward to getting more into that, but we'll see. But so far, loving this. We're up to day 4 of this little video, so let's find out how many hours I'm going to be reading for today. I honestly wouldn't mind if I have a lot of hours today, because I feel like I'm in quite a big reading mood today, but also I have so many things that I should probably be doing apart from reading, so we'll see. Six hours. Okay, we've done 5 hours twice. So I know I can do this, but I should probably start now, honestly. I'm kind of excited, actually. I feel like we could get a lot of reading done in 6 hours. A little update, I read a bit more of Flower Heart last night and I got up to page 238, which means I have like pretty much exactly 100 pages left of this, so I'm probably just gonna start with that. I'll probably do some audiobook listening today as well. I don't know what I'm going to listen to because I haven't got an audiobook that I am listening to at the moment. I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna go outside and sit in my egg chair and read for the foreseeable future because I love my egg chair and I just want to sit in it all day long. Another book finished. I really enjoyed this. I think I'm gonna give it maybe like 4 stars. This definitely felt very like cozy fantasy to me, and definitely like YA, but not in like a bad way, but very wholesome, which I just really enjoyed. I already explained what this was about when I like first started reading it, but I just really enjoyed the storyline for the most part. I think the only thing was that I wish the romance was a bit more like romancy. Like in this story, it's kind of like a friends to strangers to friends to lovers. And whilst I really loved that, I feel like they went from friends to lovers kind of like quickly, even though they had like known each other for so long. Like I think I just wish they had more romantic moments before they became like a couple, I guess. And I think the only other thing was the ending felt a little bit dragged out. Like I feel like, to me at least, it just felt like we could have probably done the ending a bit quicker maybe, I'm not sure. But I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I really, really liked it. I had so much fun with it. I definitely recommend it, especially if you love cozy fantasy. Like I think if you liked Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, you might like this because there's a lot of talk about flowers and nature, which I personally loved. And there's also like the wizards and witches in this book. Well, at least our main character, she's trying to be a healer, so she makes a lot of potions and like mixes all these different things together to get certain things. Oh, and they're like being apprentices and being taught how to become wizards and witches, which had that like academic element that I feel like Emily Wilde also had. So although they're not the same, there are definitely some similarities. So if you liked one, you might like the other, but we still have a lot of time on the clock today. So I think I'm gonna start an audiobook. I think I'm gonna listen to Maybe Meant to Be because that's just a book I'm not super excited to read. So I'm thinking if I listen to it, it might be just like I might be more motivated to read it if I'm just listening to it while I do other things, like some cleaning and some other computer tasks that I have. I just feel like if I try to read it physically, I'm just not gonna want to pick it up, and I really want to finish my monthly TBR this month, and that's on there. So I'm thinking that might be an audiobook moment, so I'll probably pick that up today while I do other things. And then as for like a physical book, I think I'm gonna start One Dark Window. I'm so excited to start this. I've just heard incredible things about it, and I feel like some people love it, some people are pretty meh about it. For some people it was like their favorite book of the year last year, and so I just want to know where I'm gonna sit on that spectrum. From what I know, it's about a girl, I don't know if she's been cursed or what the situation is, but she has like a voice in her head or something called like the Nightmare or something. That's all I really know about it, and I know that there are like playing cards involved. So I'm intrigued to start this. I have high hopes for it, so I hope I enjoy it. 6 hours of reading complete. I ended up deciding to read One Dark Window on my Kobo because I just felt like not holding a physical book. I feel like a lot of people are like this, but I get in moods where all I want to do is read physical books, and then I'll get in moods where all I want to do is use my e-reader. And I am about a third of the way through this. I do feel like I'm reading this book a little bit slower than I was reading the last couple of books because I feel like I have to really pay attention to like every detail in this book just to understand the world and the magic system and the characters, like who's who. 'Cause there are just so many people in this book, so many characters. so many family members, cousins, and I'm like, I can't keep up. So I do feel like I've like gotten the hang of who's who for the most part, but it's still definitely more complicated than some of the other books that I've been reading recently, which is fine. Like I'm really, really enjoying it so far. I just need to read it a bit slower to be able to take everything in, which it's not a negative thing. It's just something I've noticed. But yeah, I am loving this so far. I have found it fascinating, just like the plot line specifically. And I think there is going to be romance in this book or in this series, but I don't really know what the situation is yet. With fantasy books specifically, sometimes you think you know where the romance is going to go and it just doesn't end up going that way. So I'm just trying not to make any assumptions until it's like very clear, but we'll see how that goes. So today we finished the last 100 pages of Flower Heart. I started the audiobook for Maybe Meant to Be. What did we get up to? I don't think I listened to much of it. I just listened to, I don't know, the start of it, I guess. I think I listened to like a quarter of it, like a couple hours. And then we read a third of One Dark Window, and we did that in 6 hours, which I don't really know what is average and what's not, but I've had a great time reading today. Like I've enjoyed everything. Maybe Meant to Be so far is very meh to me. It's just like what I expected it to be, nothing crazy. One Dark Window might be my favorite thing I've picked up so far this week, followed by Flower Heart. Flower Heart was really good, but I think I'm enjoying this more, at least so far. And now it is 8:26 p.m. so I'm gonna go upstairs and just like read in bed. Obviously continue One Dark Window. I don't know how much further I'll get. I would love to get halfway through. Only reason being because I think that sounds satisfying to get to that point. But if I don't really mind. I'm really tired already, so I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to stay awake for, but I'll update you guys in the morning and we'll see how many hours we have to read for tomorrow. 6 hours kind of felt like a lot. Like I felt like I was reading all day today. I know I wasn't, but it kind of felt like it, which wasn't a bad thing. I also just sat in my egg chair for like, I wanna say 2 hours straight without getting up, just reading One Dark Window because it was that good. Like I really just like lost myself in it, which I love it when that happens, when you're just so unaware of the time passing because you're loving the book so much. That's how I'm feeling about this. It's almost like books are hyped for a reason. Crazy concept. Good morning, besties. It is Friday, so it is day 5, and we need to find out how many hours we're reading for. Who would have thought? Shocking, but you didn't expect that. If I'm being honest, I do hope we get like a shorter day today because I have plans. That would just make my life a lot easier, but we will see what the wheel has in store for us. Last time, slay. 2 hours. That is absolutely gorgeous. It's like it can hear me. Like, thank you so much, Mr. Wheel. I really appreciate it. Little update. I ended up getting up to like 45% of the way through One Dark Window last night before I fell asleep. So that's kind of what we're going to be working on today, I guess. I don't think I'm going to finish it in 2 hours, but I'll keep you guys updated throughout the day. My hair is looking kind of crazy because I'm letting it air dry, so it's just like half dry, half wet. But I have spent the night working on my reading journal and my scrapbook. How cute. I'm obsessed with how it's been turning out. But while I've been working on this, I have also been listening to the audiobook of Maybe Meant to Be. I haven't got that long left. I think I'll probably finish it tonight. 2 things. 1, I wanted to read more of One Dark Window. I read it for like half an hour earlier today, you guys saw, but for some reason I just couldn't get myself to concentrate, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put it down and come back to it later, and I'm gonna head to bed soon and I'll probably pick it up again and hopefully I'll be able to focus better. But I just kind of was in the mood to listen to an audiobook, so I decided to listen to this instead. Second thing, I'm not enjoying this. I'm not, unfortunately. I feel like the pacing of this has moved quite quickly, and you get told how the relationships, there's 2 relationships in this book, how they're being developed, but it just feels like they're just like telling me what's happening, and I just like don't feel the connection. I also just like I'm getting frustrated at some of the things that the characters are doing, and overall I'm just like not really having a fun time. I can't tell if K.L. Walther is for me. I liked The Summer of Broken Rules, but I haven't really liked anything else that I've read from her, so I'm a bit like, maybe maybe she was a one-hit wonder for me. And that's okay if she was, you know? I was so close to DNFing this. And then I was like, no, just like finish it. Like I'm just sitting here working on my scrapbook and like I wanted something to listen to and I didn't really have anything that I wanted to be listening to over this. Like I didn't have any other audiobooks downloaded or anything. So I was like, I may as well finish it. And I knew I was like getting close to the end. And I was like, may as well. But honestly, like it's not going to get rated very high by me, I don't think. And I also probably would have DNF'd it if I was reading it physically, because I'm just not connected at all to the story or the characters. And it's one of those books where it's like, I can see why people like this and I can see why other people connect to it and how people can just see it differently. Like I don't think it's an objectively bad book. I just don't think it's one of my personal faves, you know? Like I don't think this author is a bad author. I don't think this book is a bad book. I just don't think it's a book that I enjoy. And that's just like totally subjective, you know? Look at how many books we read in this video. This is crazy. I was not expecting it. To be fair, I only had 100 pages left of this book when I started this vlog, and I also started this book in this vlog but didn't finish it, so let's keep that in mind. But from Monday to Friday, we got through what, 7 books, give or take what I just mentioned. So let's do a bit of a recap. So Monday I read for 5 hours, Tuesday I read for 5 hours, Wednesday I had 1 hour, Thursday I had 6 hours, and Friday I had 2 hours. So I had 19 hours of reading. Crazy stuff. Like I mentioned, I only had 100 pages left of this book at the beginning of the week, so I finished that and I liked this. I do definitely prefer the first book in the series, but I'm intrigued to start the third one and see how it compares. And I think I gave this 3.5 stars. Then we had The Iron King, which honestly I wasn't too impressed by. I was really excited for this, but it just didn't really meet those expectations, I guess. Like there was a lot happening, but it didn't feel like the things that were happening were really progressing the story. It just felt like the characters were kind of going around in circles for a lot of it, and I don't think I'm going to continue this series, but I think if I'd read it when I was younger I probably would have enjoyed it more, so I ended up giving this one 2.5 stars. Then we read Paper Princess by Erin Watt. Very addicting, very entertaining, but would I actually recommend it? Probably not. It wasn't actually like good quality. It was just entertaining, which like is fine, and if that's what you want, then maybe pick up this book. But I'm also probably not going to continue this series. I just don't care enough about the characters or the story. I might look up like a summary just to see what happens. Yeah, it's just not my personal vibe. It felt very like Wattpad-y, which honestly sometimes that's a vibe, and it was a vibe in the sense of I was very entertained, but it's just not my personal preference, you know? I don't know what I'm gonna rate this one because I was very entertained by it, but also like it wasn't that good. Like it was good in the sense that I was very entertained, but I don't want to really recommend it. So I don't have a rating for this one because I don't really know what to rate it. I also listened to the audiobook of The Stolen Heir, which is a reread for me. I do really like this book. It's probably not my favorite in this world, but I do just love this world so much, and I'm excited to read the next book in this duology now that I've had a bit of a refresher. I can't remember what I rated this book originally. I have a feeling it was around 4 stars, but I think it's more of a 3.5 upon my reread. Then I picked up Flower Heart and I loved this. This is like a cozy fantasy, and it's a bit of like a friends to strangers to friends to lovers kind of story. I don't think the romance was my absolute favorite, but the story as a whole was just very cozy, very wholesome, and I just absolutely adored it. I gave this one 4 stars. Maybe meant to be. I wasn't looking forward to reading this one, and to be honest, I was kind of right. It just wasn't that good to me. I didn't feel connected to the story, didn't feel connected to the characters, just like didn't care. So I gave this one 2 stars. It's just not for me. But again, I think it's very much like a personal preference thing. I can see why some people really, really like this, but to me I was just like, eh. But I am glad that it's off my physical TBR because I was kind of dreading reading that one because I didn't think I was going to really enjoy it. So I'm glad that we got through it. And lastly, I picked up One Dark Window. I didn't finish this in this vlog. I don't remember what I got up to. I think about 55% maybe of the way through in the allocated hours potentially. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but it is now a couple days later and I have finished this book since this video, and I absolutely loved this book. It was so good. I feel like it really lives up to the hype. Like this this is a very hyped book talk, booktube book, and to me it is so worth it. Like, it really does deserve the hype. I just was so intrigued the whole time. I've been thinking about it since I finished it. I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. It wasn't one of those books where I was like, oh my gosh, this is a new 5-star read, I'm so utterly obsessed, but it was almost there. It was almost there. So 4.5, I think, and I'm so excited to read the next book in the series because I think from what I've heard, the second book is even better. I don't know, we'll see. Loved this one. So I think my least favorite book that I picked up was Maybe Meant to Be, and my favorite book I picked up was One Dark Window. And also at the start of this video, I said that I really wanted to work on my monthly TBR because I hadn't read anything from that list at the start of this week. And I ended up reading 5 books from my monthly TBR in this video. So 5 out of the 7 books I picked up were part of my monthly TBR. So that is absolutely fantastic, phenomenal. I will say also, this was a very quiet week for me in terms of like plans, in terms of workload, in terms of just like anything. I just didn't have too much to be doing. I barely left the house. Like, I had a lot of time to be reading. So I do think I like picked a very good time to film this video. I would not be able to read for 6 hours every day in a normal week. And this is not the norm for me. I do not normally read like 7 books in a week. Not at all. Not at all. Just want to make that very, very clear. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I had honestly so much fun filming it. I was just in the biggest reading mood this week. So it felt very easy to do all of these hours. Like, not once was I like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make it. Because this week I was just like, all I want to do is read. And so I did. If you guys have any reading vlog like ideas of like themes or like challenges, I guess, that you want to see, please let me know because I would love to film them for you guys. But I love you all so, so much. And I will see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.